the public television of Azerbaijan and of the State Support Agency for Non-Governmental Organizations of the Republic of Azerbaijan present Screenplay by Musalim Hasanov. Directed by Nasimi Mamadolo. Shusha City, August 1797. Temporary residence of Aha Mohammed Shah Khaja.
Good night, my ruler.
Cinematographer Ismail Evazi. Production designer Valet Davudov. Producer Tarlan Ismailzadeh. The clouded mountains of Shusha. Shusha, March 1845. Office of Mikhail Petrovich Kolyubakin, District Magistrate of Shusha. Kolyubakin Mikhail Petrovich, Lieutenant Colonel of the Russian Army, who served as the District Magistrate of Shusha in the 1840s. Later, he served as the Governor of Erivan and Kutaisi. At the rank of Lieutenant General, he was appointed as the Military Governor of Baku in 1863.
Mirza Adi Gozel Bey, I called you on purpose. Please have a seat.
Mirza Adgozel Bey Karabaghi was born in 1780 in Shusha. He served in the palace of Mehdigul Khan, the last ruler of Karabakh. Later he worked at the Caucasian Viceroyalty in Tbilisi. He also served in the Russian army at the rank of second lieutenant, lieutenant and captain. After the abolition of Karabakh Khanate, he worked as a county officer.
I would like to ask you for some information about Shusha. When and by whom was this beautiful city founded? I would say that this city carries an interesting history. The establishment of Shusha is associated with Panahali Khan.
1752.
Mirza Adi Gozel Bey. What you said sounds very interesting. I assign you to write a book about the history of Shusha and Karabakh Khanate.
When Lieutenant Colonel Mikhail Kolyabakin asked Mirza Adi Bey about the history of Shusha, some Russian historians already knew exactly who founded Shusha and when. Back in 1834, a book was published in St. Petersburg to answer this question. The title of the book is 6 Letters of Georgia and the Caucasus. Platon Zubov wrote it in 1833. Platon Zubov, a Russian military historian and writer, he participated in the Russo-Persian and Russo-Turkish wars. In his book, published in 1834, he talked about Shusha as well. Nuha was the main city of Shaiki Khanate, Shamaki was the most important city of Shirvan Khanate, and Shusha was the main city of Karabakh Khanate. Shusha fortress, built by Panah Khan in 1752, is the most remarkable place in those provinces. Panah Khan, a former centurion of the Javanshirs, and above all the herald of Nadir Shah, was the absolute ruler in Karabakh. Most probably, Lieutenant Colonel Kolyabakin was unaware of this book. So was the Viceroy of the Caucasus, Mikhail Vorontsov. In 1847, Vorontsov also decided to study the history of Karabakh and assigned Mirza Jamal Javanshir Garabakhi to write a book on this matter. Mirza Jamal knew this history well. He was the vizier of Karabakh Khanate from 1797 to 1822. After the abolition of Karabakh Khanate, he served in the provincial court for many years. Mirza Jamal Javanshir Garabakhi fulfilled the viceroy's assignment. Both historians write that everything started with Nadir Shah's march on Karabakh. Nadir Shah recruits Javanshir's warriors to his army. Young and clever Panahali Bey from the Sarijali tribe attracts the attention of Nadir Shah. After various trials, Panahali Bey starts to serve in the palace of Nadir Shah.
You will stay in the palace as of today. I appoint you the Lord of the Exterior.
However, he is worried about the cruelty of Nadir Shah. There is a risk of facing his wrath at any moment. Panahali Bey escapes the palace. The riders who pursue him return without success. Years pass, and Panahali Bey settles back in his home, Karabakh. He has to be careful and live a secret life for a while. Nevertheless, later, destiny smiles at Panahali Bey.
Who are you? I'm a herald, Panahali Bey. What news have you brought? Good news, Panahali Bey. Nadir Shah was killed.
After this, Panahali Bey turns into an angry lion and exuberant dragon. He calls back the warriors of Javanshir, Kabieli and Otuziki, who have been sent to exile in Khorasan by Nadir Shah. He provides them with livelihood and declares himself a Khan. This news spreads everywhere. Ali Gulu Shah, who succeeded Nadir Shah on the Persian throne and declared himself Adil Shah, sends his general Amir Aslan Khan to Karabakh to meet Panahali Bey. Adil Shah grants Panahali Bey the title of Khan.
Panahali Bey, your title of Khan is blessed. I wish prosperity to this new Khanate. Amir Aslan Khan, convey my gratefulness to Adil Shah.
Panahali Khan tries to be cautious and decides to build a fortress. He builds the Bayat fortress near Berda. Now, there is no sign or trace of the Bayat fortress, but at that time, the foundation of the fortress and construction of entrenchments by Panahali Khan in this area irritated many people, and some complaints went to Haji Chalabi, the Khan of Sheki. Haji Chalabi besieges the Bayat fortress with countless troops. However, the siege fails. They cannot defeat the brave soldiers of Panahali Khan. Haji Chalabi withdraws his army and he declares,
Panahali Khan was like an uncoined silver until now. We came, coined him, and went back.
These words of Haji Chalabi later became a proverb and confirm the fame of Panahali Khan. This battle also gives a lesson to Panahali Khan. He must build a more secure fortress in a safer area. Shabulag means the royal spring, and it is associated with the name of Nadir Shah, Afshar. Panahali Khan then builds the Shabulag fortress. This is that fortress, Shabulag fortress. It was indeed a bit different at that time. Nonetheless, even at that time, it had the features of fortification with a strong protection system. This fortification seems to give Panakhan new strength. The fortress walls are secure and the guard towers are perfect. Nothing can prevent observation of the surroundings and monitoring the threat of an attack. How come the Armenians destroyed Aghdam city, which is close to this fortress, but did not touch it? This question also has an answer. The ancient city of Aghdam is located 10 kilometers away from the Shabulag fortress. It was ruined during the First Karabakh War. However, the Armenians did not destroy the Shabulag fortress. They tried to modify the fortress, just as they did with our other historical monuments. They even gave a new name to Shabulag, Tigrant Kert. This fortress, which has no connection to the fictitious Tigran and was built by Panahali Khan in the 18th century, disturbed many people in the region. The threat of a new attack is expected. The Khan understands that the Shabulag fortress is not safe either. He keenly looks for a place for his new fortress. His advisors locate a place on top of the steep mountains, an area near Shusha Kent village. After this, the foundation of a city fortress is laid in 1752, like Panahabad. Soon the city gets the name of Shusha among the people. According to folklore, the people called it Shusha. In the Azerbaijani language, it means glass. It is called Shusha because the weather in this area is clear, like crystal and healing. In the concise Oxford Dictionary of World Place Names, it is indicated that the toponym Shusha comes from the word Shusha, that is glass. Thus, Shusha city appears in the world. After this, Karabakh province finds peace and order. Shusha grows and develops. Construction of a city fortress here, on cliffs, was not only in the memories and writings of Mizir Adgozel Bey and Mizir Jamal Garabahi, it has been passed through the generations. Robert Kerr Porter, a British traveller and writer who travelled to the Caucasus and Persia from 1817 to 1820, included a map of the Caucasus in his book, published in London in 1821. The book covers Karabakh and Shusha city of that time. The famous Russian traveller Konstantin Nikitin, who travelled to this region, perpetuated the history in his book, published in 1873. Nikitin wrote, 120 years ago, there was no sign of human life in the region where Shusha city is located now. This green area was surrounded by woods and forests above the picturesque Karabakh, and the valley was home for eagles and other beasts. Nikitin recaps, it is a pleasure for Karabakh that an adventurer called Panahali Bey, who came from Javanshir's Sarijali tribe, gave a beautiful life to these bare and untouchable mountains by founding a city here. Nikitin also explains the history of the establishment of Shusha. The Khan made this city his residence and the capital of Karabakh. For this purpose, he ordered to build a mosque. The inscription shows the date of the city's foundation and is still on the wall of that mosque. It is 1167 according to the Muslim Hijri calendar. That is 1752 from the birth date of Jesus Christ. In his book, The Caucasian War, published in 1887 to 1889, famous Russian military historian Vasily Poto wrote, on the wall of the city mosque, there is an inscription confirming that the city and the fortress were founded by Panahali Khan in 1167, according to the Hijri calendar. Today, the inscription does not exist. Our neighbors, who are masters of falsifying history, made it disappear. The inscription on this mosque, which was seen by Vasily Poto himself in the 1880s, was diminished. However, this does not mean erasing history. The Russian emperor signs a document on sending the authorized civilian advisor Pyotr Kovalensky to Georgia as a minister. His duties are explained thoroughly in the certificate given to him: to get information regularly about what is happening in Iran by establishing relationships with the Khans who are in contact with Georgia. In addition, in August 1800, Kovalensky prepared a document for the emperor called Notes on Georgia. He states, Ibrahim Khan, the ruler of Karabakh, is a mature and smart man from Persia. His Shusha fortress is considered a miracle of the region because of its natural defense capabilities and the size. This report can be considered the first official document sent to the Russian emperor about the Shusha fortress. After this, Knyaz Pavel Sisyanov, Russian commander-in-chief in the Caucasus, hurries to inform the Russian Emperor Alexander I about the Shusha fortress because it astonished the general. Knyaz Sisyanov writes an extensive report to the Russian Emperor in August 1805. He reports that he has been to Shusha. He explains, I went to Shusha, which is located 17 miles from Askaran, and spent one full day there. After observing, I was convinced that this fortress, protected by high rock walls and towers on one side, and a huge vertical hill created by nature itself on the other side, is one of the rare buildings in this area that is built according to Asian traditions. Knyaz Sisyanov expresses the glory of the Shusha fortress in his words. Vereshchagin, who became a famous painter later, draws Shusha's paintings. He draws what his eyes see. We are talking about the paintings published in a book called Travel to Transcaucasia in 1864 to 1865 by competent painter Vasily Vereshchagin. Shusha Mosque. Vereshchagin also confirms that the date of construction of Shusha was inscribed on a stone on this mosque. As a graduate of the St. Petersburg Academy of Art, Vasily Vereshchagin makes a long-term visit to the Caucasus. The artist travels to the Caucasus for 3 years and paints the nature of the region. Vereshchagin stays in Shusha for 2.5 months. He then publishes a book and includes the paintings he draws here. Vereshchagin writes, Shusha is the main city of Karabakh Khanate and satisfactorily well fortified. It is protected by steep hills on 2 sides and fortress walls and towers on the other 2 sides. Here are Vereshchagin's paintings from Shusha. Gentlemen who smoke hookah. The artist called this painting an Azerbaijani school in Shusha. This is also an Azerbaijani beauty depicted by the artist. And a rich lord's son. Do you know what the most interesting thing in Vereshchagin's book is? The famous painter enters Shusha and gets surprised. The city square is full of people. These people say something loudly in their language and repeat some action. Do you know what is it about? The arrival of the famous painter to Shusha coincides with the month of Muharram, and for the first time he sees the commemoration of the martyrs of Kerbala in this Muslim city. We are talking about Shusha of 1865. Here is what Vereshchagin witnesses. Shusha Square. Vereshchagin calls the painting he drew during the Muharram ceremony the Voluntary Martyrs. The Deadened Ones is another piece by the painter. This is also Vereshchagin's painting called Dervish and Repentant. Another painting from him in the month of Muharram is the last stage of Muharram ceremonies. You can actually see the Shusha fortress and its walls in the background. Is there a need for more convincing evidence that Shusha is a real Muslim city? The book contains 13 paintings of Shusha, and all of them are about Muslims there. Vereshchagin writes, Shusha city is completely different from other Transcaucasian cities where I was, such as Erivan, Nakhchivan and Yelizavetpol. Houses in those cities are small, with low ceilings, mostly built of brick and mud, and have few windows. The roofs of the houses are so low that they are not visible in the surrounding green gardens. The streets are narrow, dirty and crooked. Shusha is in complete contrast to those cities. The houses here are straight and beautiful, with high ceilings and many windows. The city was built with rocks taken from the steep mountains on which it was built. Vereshchagin describes Shusha of the mid-19th century. At that time, the mountains of Shusha were still clouded. The development and progress of Karabakh Khanate increased the number of its enemies. Mohammed Hasan Khan Qajar besieges Shusha fortress with the troops that he gathered from Astrabad, Mazandaran and Gilan provinces. He is the Aga Mohammed Shah Qajar's father.
If they don't surrender the fortress, kill them, even the infants.
Mohammed Hasan Khan, who besieges the city for a month, cannot conquer Shusha. News about turmoil in Iran forces him to return. We are talking about 1757.
Well, I will deal with you later.
10 years later, dark clouds cover the skies of Shusha again. Fatali Khan Afshar, the ruler of Urmia, comes to Karabakh with a large army. Although he attacks 7 times, he is not able to take the fortress and suffers many casualties. Fatali Khan Afshar's troops stay in Karabakh for 6 months. Finally, peacekeepers intervene and offer reconciliation. An agreement is signed between Panahali Khan and Fatali Khan. Hostility ends. Panahali Khan surrenders his son Ibrahim Khalil Aga to the army of Fatali Khan as an assurance.
Ibrahim Khalil.
Fatali Khan takes Ibrahim Khalil Aga with him and withdraws his troops. Then he starts a war with Karim Khan Zand. Karim Khan turns to Panahali Khan for help in that war. Panahali Khan goes to help Karim Khan Zand with a large army. After that, Karim Khan brings Ibrahim Khalil Aga to his palace and gives him a precious robe, a sword decorated with jewels, and the decree of the Khanate of Karabakh province, then sends him back. He offers Panahali Khan to go on a trip to Shiraz with him. Panahali Khan dies in Shiraz. His body is brought to Akhdam with great respect and buried in his native place. Later, other Khans of Karabakh, Ibrahim Khan, Medigulu Khan, and their children will be buried here. However, Armenians do not hesitate to turn even the graves of Karabakh Khans into ruins. Graves are destroyed, tombs are blown up. They, however, do not touch these small rooms built in the ancient Oriental style, only because they keep livestock here. This is the family house of Karabakh Khans. It became a ruin after the First Karabakh War. After Panahali Khan was buried in Imarat, his son, Ibrahim Khalil Agha, becomes the ruler of the Karabakh province. He establishes family ties with the ruler of the Avar province, Nusal Khan, Oglu Umar Khan, by marrying his sister. Therefore, he gets the opportunity to rely on the troops of mountaineers when needed. Once again, dark clouds cover the skies of Shusha. The army besieges the city like dark clouds. This time, Agha Muhammad Shah Qajar is leading the army. Muhammad Hassan Khan Qajar's son, who once attacked this city and failed. Shah of Persia. Qajar Shah keeps the Shusha fortress in siege for 33 days. He sets up tents around the fortress and sends threatening letters to Ibrahim Khan.
This is my last warning. If Shusha does not surrender, I will destroy the city with cannon fires. Stones of strife rain down from the sky. You are hiding in a glass bottle like a coward. Right.
Ibrahim Khan replies, "My creator will protect me inside a glass bottle." Shusha. Qajar troops start shooting Shusha from cannons. However, it is impossible to take the fortress. Russian historian Dobrovin writes, "The situation of Shusha fortress makes it impossible to capture. Built among steep mountains and rocks, the granite Shusha fortress rises high up to the clouds. It is possible to watch the silvery waters of the Araz River from the top of tall mountains to the far south. The huge snow-capped mountains, shining in the north, mark the borders of happy Georgia." Agha Muhammad Shah Qajar decides to go back towards Georgia. Qajar's troops capture Tbilisi in September 1795 to avenge Shusha's failure. In November 1796, Russian Empress Catherine dies, and Russian troops are recalled from the Caucasus. Agha Muhammad Shah sends troops to Shusha again in the spring of 1797.
Residents of Shusha have been rejecting my demands for 33 days. I warn you for the last time.
Having heard about the next attack of Qajar Shah on Karabakh with a large army, Ibrahim Khan has to flee to the Jar-Balakan region. This time, Qajar's troops enter the center of Karabakh, Shusha, without any fight. According to Dobrovin, Qajar Shah settles in the palace of Ibrahim Khan's son. Palaces and mansions belonging to Karabakh Khans are occupied now. Leaders of Qajar become absolute rulers in the city. Joy parties are organized in Shusha. The Qajar leaders do celebrate and dance Yali in Judea Valley. It has always had a higher cost for foreigners to dance Yali in Judea Valley, starting from Agha Muhammad Shah Qajar. And an incident happens. Safarili Bey and Abbas Bey, the Shah's servants, face his fury for making an unimportant mistake. The Shah declares,
Both of you will be put to death tomorrow morning. With your rose-colored blood, the Karabakh garden will turn into a parterre.
They knew well that the Shah never changes his words.
Get them out of here, so I don't see them.
They had two options: either wait until tomorrow and say bye to life, or settle accounts with the Shah tonight. They choose the second option.
The ruler is going to sleep soon. I will let you know. Good night, my lord. Hey, you stupid people! You destroyed the Persian state!
These are the last words of Qajar Shah, whose anger shook the earth and sky. The assassins are not satisfied with killing him. They decapitate him as proof. Tomorrow, this head will be delivered from Shusha to Balakan to Ibrahim Khan.
Safar Ali Bey and Abbas Bey, hurry up! The horses are ready, outside.
Tez.
Hey people, come out! The Qajar Shah was killed!
Ibrahim Khan returns to Shusha after Aha Muhammad Shah Qajar's assassination. He sends the corpse of Qajar to Persia with respect and reverence, and continues to lead Karabakh Khanate. This is how the Russian historian Dobrovin describes Karabakh Khanate, ruled by Ibrahim Khan. Karabakh Khanate is bounded to the north by Ganja, Sheki and Shirvan, bordered by Mugan Steppe to the east, and neighboring the Araz River in the south and southeast. Karabakh, which is rich in forests, got its name from these forests, which means black garden in the Azerbaijani language. Vasily Poto also confirms in his book that the word Karabakh means black garden in Azerbaijani. On May the 14th, 1805, Pavel Sisyanov, Russian commander-in-chief in the Caucasus, signs the Kurakshey Treaty with Ibrahim Khan. Karabakh Khanate becomes a subject of Russia. The emperor gives Ibrahim Khan the rank of general in the Russian army. Ibrahim Khan is recognized as the absolute ruler of Karabakh, and he is presented as not only the Khan of Karabakh, but also the Khan of Shusha in the treaty. Armenians are not mentioned in this treaty. In July 1806, dark clouds again cover the skies of Shusha.
Yeniden kara bulutlar alır.
Major Lisanovich commits the murder of the century in Khan's garden, using the pretext that Ibrahim Khan is allegedly trying to violate the terms of the Kurukçay Treaty. By establishing relations with the Prince of Persia, Abbas Mirza.
I expected all kinds of cruelty from you, but not to this extent.
35 people, including Ibrahim Khan and his family members and their young children, are killed. Shusha loses its leader. Correspondence and investigation go on for a long time. Who is guilty? Of course, the occupiers are not judged. Major Lisanovich, the murderer, remains unpunished. On September the 10th, 1806, the Russian Emperor Alexander I issues a supreme decree on Medigulu Aha, son of the late Ibrahim Khan. We approve you as the Khan of Shusha and Karabakh and allow you to rule in those lands under our supreme protection. Signed, Alexander. Medigulu Khan leads the Khanate for about 16 years. In addition, the situation changes significantly after the arrival of General Madatov of Armenian origin to serve in Shusha. Madatov does not allow Medigulu Khan to work by creating intrigues. In 1822, the Khan is forced to flee Persia. In November, General Yermolov addresses the people of Karabakh.
Karabakh Khanate is recognized to be a direct dependency of the Russian government from today. Khanate authority is abolished forever.
Although the Khanate is abolished, the date of establishment of Karabakh Khanate and Shusha can never be erased from both official and unofficial documents. In the 1846 map of the Caucasus, the city of Shusha is shown as the capital of Karabakh province, noting that Shusha was built by Panahali Khan. Shusha's name is eternalized in all books and encyclopedias published after that. Here is the Brockhaus and Ephron Encyclopedic Dictionary, Volume 15, St. Petersburg, 1904. Shusha, a provincial city in Yelizavetpol Governorate. Shusha was founded in 1752 by Panahali Bey. It was the capital of Karabakh Khanate until 1823. Bolshaya Encyclopedia, St. Petersburg, 1909. Shusha, a provincial city in Yelizavetpol Governorate. And this is the book Rovzatus Safa by a Persian historian, Rezagulu Khan Hidayat. It was published in Tehran in 1854. This is how Shusha is mentioned in the section about the campaigns of Aha Muhammad Shah Qajar, Shushai Panawabad. Thus, Shusha, the city on clouded mountains, lives and develops. Today it is known as the Conservatory and Cultural Center of the Caucasus. It brings up famous singers, poets and scientists. In 1921, when the Caucasian Bureau of the Bolshevik Party, the supreme Soviet power in the Caucasus, creates the Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast, it pictures Shusha as the capital of this oblast. However, later some forces approve Kankendi, the leisure place of the Karabakh Khans, as the capital of the oblast. In September 1923, Kankendi was renamed Stepanakert in honor of Bolshevik Stepan Shaumian. In late 1987, early 1988, dark clouds again gather over Shusha and all of Karabakh. Shusha is again under threat, but Shusha is an unassailable fortress. The history of Azerbaijan has proved this. However, in May 1992, entire Azerbaijan shakes. Shusha is occupied. Why? How? The people of Azerbaijan lived with these questions for 28 years. Without Shusha, Azerbaijan looks weak and miserable, though the people believed that one day they will return to Shusha. And in November 2020, this wish comes true. The longing of the Azerbaijani people for Shusha, the symbol of our culture and history, ends.
Dear Shusha, you are free. Dear Shusha, we are back. Dear Shusha, we will revive you.
Since that day, the dark clouds over Shusha have disappeared. Since that day, Shusha is reviving. Since that day, Shusha is developing. Idea, Sonmaz Mashal, Cultural Relations Public Union, Scientific Consultant, Karim Shukurov, Doctor of History, Professor. English Text Editor, Z1 Huang. The film was narrated by David Sayes and Philip Sayes. The film was produced and dubbed with the financial assistance of the State Support Agency for Non-Governmental Organizations of the Republic of Azerbaijan and with the support of Public Television of Azerbaijan.